Hey guys, Eric with Blue Line Fishing. Welcome back to the channel. Your time's important to me as always. And what we're going to do in today's time is we're going to check out the 3 best and the 3 worst lures of 2023. Stick with me and we're going to jump right into it. So let's jump right into this, guys. And I'm going to start by saying, some of the baits that are on my worst list, if they're on your top producing lures of this year, I would love to know. Leave me some comments down below as far as if you just knock fish out on these. I would love to hear it because it's just my personal experience. That these baits we're going to talk about here in a second, I just did not do well on this year, but I had high hopes for. With that being said, let's get started. So first on the list is the ZAM Hellraiser. Topwater bait, man, this thing looks like all that in a bag of chips coming through the water. It looks awesome. And it wasn't for lack of effort throwing this bait. I threw it a lot. I did catch fish on it. I never caught any big fish on it. And there were times when I would catch 1 or 2 fish on this and I felt like there should be a strong topwater bite going on. Started throwing a traditional buzz bait right in behind it and started catching fish. This, not so much. So let me know what you guys think as far as the Hellraiser goes. But to me, this was probably my biggest disappointment of the year because I really thought this lure was going to knock it out. Second on the worst list here is going to be this Yamamoto Slinko. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Yamamoto baits, like the classic Slinko, and then you got the Cowboy. There's so many other greats. They make a phenomenal chatterbait trailer as far as that end of it goes. I just did not have any luck with this bait right here, and you can see, and I'll show you the packaging on it if you haven't seen them. Hopefully the light's not glaring off that too bad, but anyway, this is a bait that I bought, and you can see how it's got this tapered head design on this flat head on it. I thought it'd be perfect to fish as a shaky head, or you can even Nico rig it, wacky rig it, whatever you wanted to do. It just had a different body design where it looks like it'd have a slow fall rate because of the ridges in it, have some water resistance to it and stuff like that. I threw this in where, I was catching fish on stick baits like your Slinko and things like that. But man, I did not have any luck like I thought I would have on this particular bait. It's another one earlier this year when I got it that I just thought it would knock it out of the park, but not so much. Last on the worst list here at number 3, this is a bait I actually did a video on. It's probably been a couple years ago. I thought just looks so good coming through the water, and it hunts like crazy. It is the Jabberjaw Crankbait. You can see I got them in 2 different colors here, and when this crankbait first came out, because it has this lip on it, this bill that will go back and forth kind of like a chatterbait, and it hunts like a chatterbait in the water. And obviously it's a crankbait, so you can work it in all those areas like, timber and laydowns and things like that. I just thought this was a bait right here that would have the best of both worlds of the chatterbait and the crankbait. I love to throw both of those. But man, I have fished these baits so much. And, I talked about them last year. They were a disappointment. I threw them again this year because they look so good. I can't stay away from them. But, man, I have not caught the fish on it like I thought I would. I can throw other crankbaits in behind these and really knock them out. But for some reason, the Jabberjaw, and man, I thought it was going to be all that in a bag of chips too, just has not produced for me. If you guys had luck on them, though, like I said on the other ones, let me know. So now let's jump into the best baits of 2023. Like I say, these are the top 3 baits as far as performance goes for me. The first one is not going to come as a surprise to anybody that watches the channel on a regular basis because it's a spinnerbait, but it's a little bit different spinnerbait than I normally throw. If you guys watch the channel, you know that I make my own spinnerbaits. I've made custom spinnerbaits for over 20 years now because you can do a lot of things with the blade combinations, the skirts, the head design, and do a lot of different things with the spinnerbait. But this particular spinnerbait is the Strike King Tour Grade first generation Colorado Willow. And I think it's a little bit unique as far as it's got this guppy head design, a weight 4 design on the bait itself, premium swivels, premium blades, Gamakatsu hooks. It comes with this elongated trailer, which you could trim off and you could put your own swim bait trailer on that you wanted to. Also comes with a stinger hook or this trailer hook on the back. But man, I had some really good days with this starting in the early spring. And I'll show you a little bit of footage here as far as how this bait performed for me. It seemed to do really well. Like this day, you can see here's overcast and cloudy. But on this particular day, if I'd have been tournament fishing and I was just fun fishing, I had well over 20 pounds with just 5 fish, and they all came on this. It's a wild crawl colored, is what they call it. Strike King calls it spinnerbait. But I'll tell you what, this is a bait that I actually ended up throwing for the majority of the year. And this wild crawl color, I threw past the spring into the summer and into the fall and caught fish on it year round. I've got it in other patterns too, a shad pattern and stuff like that, and a bluegill pattern. But man, this spinnerbait really knocked them out this year. So next on the list for best baits of 2023, and this is going a little bit old school. This is not a new lure by any stretch of the imagination. It's been around forever and a day, but the Lipless Crankbait. And in particular, this Lipless Crankbait, this is a cotton cordell spot, 1/2 ounce, gold color. Used the shad pattern too, but especially in that off color and stained water this year. Did really, really well. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there was all kinds of teeth marks in this one here. Turn around the other side. I don't know how well that'll show up on video here, but this lure has just been beat to pieces, man, because I tore some fish up on it. And I'll show you a little bit of footage on this as well, because this is a lure that I did really well all year on, especially in the summer months. But I mean, I've in the fall I did well. This is some summertime footage here. A really nice little fish here that actually choked this bait all the way down, which is what you want to see, because when you see them choke it down, normally that means they're feeding pretty aggressively. But once again, it's a bait that I did well on throughout the year. And you know, this is a bait that you can fish in the spring. Obviously, you can yo-yo it, you can stop-start it, you can straight retrieve it. Same in the summertime and same in the fall. But for me this year, I kind of had a revitalization with this bait, as far as I hadn't thrown it as much the past couple years, but this past year I did, and did really, really well with the Lipless Crankbait. And speaking of baits having a revitalization, at least with me, another bait that's been around forever, but that I hadn't fished a whole lot in the past couple years, but I really got back to fishing this year, is the Fluke. Just a simple fluke, and you can fish different sizes, you can fish them different ways. I usually like to fish them with a 3 or 4 aught offset wide gap worm hook, weightless, but you can also fish them with a belly weighted hook. You can fish them with an underspin. A lot of different ways you can do it. But the Fluke for me this year, man, I caught a lot of fish on it. I didn't catch any great big fish on the Fluke, but man, I caught numbers on the Fluke like I haven't caught in years. So for me, it was a fun bait to go back to and be able to use again, because the fish, when they're on it, man, they seem to hit it so hard and so aggressively. So that is a look at the best and worst lures, at least for me, in 2023. If you guys enjoyed this, got something out of today's video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, I would love to hear down in the comments below what your guys' best lures were for the year, what the worst lures were, as far as, what you thought would perform well and didn't, because I'm sure there's some that you guys will list and name that I haven't even thought about really using that much. Because, I pyre fish, I kind of get stuck in my ways on different baits and techniques that I use, so I love hearing new things, new techniques, new lures, new ways to fish. So you guys help me out, put some comments down below on that. Once again, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. And remember, until that next video, get out there and fish.